It's Sunday night, and that means Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. Hey guys, did you hear about the kidnapping in Metropolis High?
I did not.
It's all fine now. He woke up. If it's Sunday night and you're a DC Comics fan, you found the greatest DC Comics show on YouTube. It's another edition of Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. Thank you so much for popping in to spend some time with us. I'm Ryan Magic Lasso, hosting again this week. We welcome Tony Fett to the show. Hi, Tony.
Hello.
How are
Thanks
you?
for tuning in, everybody. I'm
right.
good. Nice and chilly here. I like it.
Very much so. Very, very frosty here. And the only frosty I'm really into is at Wendy's. We'd also like to welcome fanboy Tim the Comic Collector. Oh yeah, excused absence. He's got that note. And we'll also not welcome Comic Food 2814. But who needs those two? When you have a special guest like we have tonight, he got cornered in the chat last week during the live show, and I said, hey you SuperRus face, I kind of want you to be on Fanboys sometime. Bing bang boom, he's here. SuperRus 9000. Welcome to Fanboys Live and the Retro Review.
It's good to be here, man. I appreciate the invite, and I'll be waiting on the bag of M&Ms for the payoff.
That's right. Are you plain or peanut?
Peanut butter. I'm fancy
butter,
like
those
that.
are pretty good.
Yeah.
Man, if it would just cost a bag of M&Ms, like, geez, we could have paid you off a while ago.
Cheap date.
Yeah, no kidding. Let's have you back every week.
Yeah.
Normal people charge money for appearances, or we have to give them an A-OK, but you're just a bag
there's
of
a
M&Ms.
contract writer,
right.
where we have to fulfill the list of demands.
Yeah.
Which is what happened with Fu, couldn't get the right furry costume, stopped coming on the show. Just saying.
Yeah. Yep.
If you're watching us at home, we greatly appreciate you stopping by and spending time on Fanboys Live and the Retro Review on the Rewind. But let's say hello to some folks that have joined us live in the chat, starting with James Warlord. Hello to you as well. Good to see you here. And I know what state James lives in, and I bet it's even more cool than it is for me right now. So we'll say hello and meow to the Jackson Roykirk. Yeah. And we have Paul S. joining us as well. As more people pile into the live chat, we'll make sure to give them a shout out and a salute. So Russ, I think a lot of people in the comic book community know you, but if for some reason someone is new, maybe checking this out tonight, or isn't familiar with you or your channel, tell us a little bit about it.
Oh man, I don't really have much of a direction for my channel.
just things you like, right?
Yeah. Just like I've been branching out a little bit into like a video game, just like not playing them per se, but showing like retro games that I love and just telling a little bit about them. I've been doing like some superhero origin videos, and just the regular unboxings and hauls when I get stuff in. But I do have a giveaway currently going on right now. And I'm just 9 subscribers away from unveiling the next set of books in that giveaway.
How many subscribers?
By the way, there is a link. There is a link to SuperRus's channel in the description for this video. So if for some reason you're not subscribed to the fella, I don't know what's wrong with you, but you can take care of that and be part of the cool crowd by being a SuperRus 9000 subscriber.
Appreciate that.
How many subscribers would that be, Russ?
I'm going for 2K, and every 100 along the way, I'm adding more prizes to the giveaway.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you just hit 1,000 not long ago, and you're already at 2K. Like, bro, I'm spinning my wheels at 590.
I'm 9 away from 1,600 right now.
Gotcha.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But I'm adding more prizes for every 100 on the way. So by the time I get to 2K, it's going to be a nice fat stack of books.
That's pretty cool. I could get behind that.
That's great. I'm just trying to get back to I had 700 plus, and then because I had a very successful YouTube short, and then YouTube took a whole bunch of them away, and I'm just trying to get back to what I had.
Yeah. That happens a lot with the shorts. It seems like the only time my channel gets real growth is when a short takes off, but then it keeps fluctuating instead of sticking.
Yeah, with shorts, you gotta be pretty consistent with shorts. You gotta have shorts coming out like every day.
Yeah.
Just
I
to
was
maintain.
for a while, but I got lazy with the content for a little bit. After doing the daily videos for so long, I kind of got burnt out.
Yeah, I can understand that. Hello to Joey Bag of Sevens. Happy Sunday to you. Thanks for stopping by. So, Tony, we're going to segue a little bit into some DC Comics news. What is going on?
Not DC related, but I mean, it's everywhere over the news right now. We lost a Power Ranger today.
Yeah.
Jason David Frank passed away today. So
49 years old.
Yeah, everyone's pretty bummed out. I didn't think Power Rangers could die.
Yeah.
So it's real sad today. Clean your shorts off and do. No, you just turn them inside out.
Put them on top of your jeans.
Yeah, there you go. Or just pull a Superman like you. Yeah, pull them up. There you go. Yeah, so that's pretty depressing. Although in a good news, James Gunn and David Zaslav have a meeting tomorrow, and they will put the final stamp on the current state of DC movies. From here on out, starting Monday, will be all the official James Gunn movies that will be announced, which will be pretty cool. So I'm excited for that. Be on the lookout for some cool news. I know I'm going to be checking my phone several times throughout the day. It might not get announced tomorrow. Might be later in the week. It might wait till the end of the year for all I know. But
the decisions are being made tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow everything gets finalized, and that came straight from James Gunn. So
hello to Ben Compton. What's up with you? Thanks for stopping by. And yeehaw to yeehaw.
But other than that, it's been pretty slow news for a while. I mean, we're all still riding the Black Adam high. It's still doing great at the box office. So that's fun. China announced that they're not going to show it, but I don't care.
Russ, did you get to see Black Adam, or is that something you're interested in or not?
No, I haven't got to. I'm like so far behind on all the movies. I haven't really seen a new movie since Endgame was in theaters.
Okay.
I think Black Adam's a good way to jump in because you don't have to see the past movies to get this one. So
yeah, Black Adam is just kind of a standalone. So right now, at least.
Wow, the end credit scene kind of ties it to the rest of the movies.
Well, yeah,
literally the last 5 seconds of filming.
Yeah.
So you're not going to miss anything.
No.
So check it out.
It's kind of weird. I heard that The Rock doesn't really have any interest in working with Zachary Levi and doing like a Shazam movie with them.
He put something out on that. It's not that he doesn't have any interest with working Zachary Levi. It's the script that got turned in that he would be with Zachary Levi. He didn't care for the script and the pilot of the movie, so he vetoed that because it wasn't up to his standard, from what I understand. It's not like him and Zachary Levi don't like each other, but you know how it's inevitable because allegedly Gal Gadot is in Shazam 2: Fury of the Gods. Actually, it's no legend. That's almost confirmed at this point. And Henry Cavill's at the end of Black Adam, so they're sewing these movies in hard, which is good. That's great. That's what we need. We don't need like a one Nick Fury type esque character to tie them all together. They can appear in each other's movies, which I think is great. Who knows? Maybe Marvel will take a page out of that. I think that'd be great. Much like Iron Man in the first Spider-Man movie, he was in it, but not for very long. He was just in certain spots. That would be really cool if that was like the DC trend going forward. And I heard that's what they're going to do for Blue Beetle with Bruce Wayne. Not necessarily Batman, but Bruce Wayne will appear in random spots in the movie, which would be really cool if that was true.
Have they said if it was going to be Affleck playing Wayne, or is he out?
Well, it's almost confirmed he's coming back as Bruce Wayne. In fact, he is. He's appearing in Aquaman 2 and The Flash.
Okay.
Even though he said that after The Flash, he was never coming back. But then, like, a few months down the road, all of a sudden he's in Aquaman 2 and he's talking with WB, and Joe Manganiello is coming back, possibly as Deathstroke.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That would be
So,
cool
I
to
mean,
see.
yeah, I'm excited for Deathstroke. If it's true, if Joe Manganiello is coming back, apparently he's going to appear possibly in the second season of Peacemaker before he jumps again to the big screen, which I'm okay with.
Yeah,
Just
that
as
would
long as
make
we get some
sense.
Deathstroke, yeah. So we'll see. There's still a lot to be determined, a lot of speculation up in the air with DC. So a lot of it comes to fruition after the Flash movie. So that's where things are going to be made. I understand, see what carries forward. I'm imagining not Ezra Miller, but
Yeah.
we can get the other
Does
stuff.
that have a solid release date yet? The Flash
Yeah,
movie?
it does. The date escapes me, but yeah, it has an official release date. So it's essentially it's the Snyderverse without Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Hey, Library Comics is here. I am stoked that you are here. So I'm a big fan of Library of Comics. So, and
yes,
I was just telling him that I love the way that he organizes his collection too.
I gotta check it out. I'm always looking for ways to reorganize my stuff.
Oh, he's got it down. It looks so sharp. And literally he has a Library of Comics. I mean, that name lives up to it. So
see, and I thought I was cool because I got these awesome fireproof cabinets, I always thought that was pretty cool, but
that's how you hold your Firestorm books.
Actually, yes, there's several Firestorm books
Yep.
in this collection I got here.
Yep. And Library of Comics, if you ever want to come on the show sometime, we'd be more than happy to have you on. I'd love to. You are actually on my list of YouTubers that I want to collaborate with that I've never had the chance. So
those cabinets are great, and best of all, the price that came with them, $0. So you can't beat $0. I'm working on a project here about these cabinets. I'm thinking of my idea. I found this idea on Pinterest. Somebody had taken their file cabinets and cut out the drywall and made them fit in there perfectly. And I could essentially do that because on the other side of here is just a big empty space underneath some stairs that go up.
yeah.
So I could do that. I've been thinking about it. It would give me a lot more space, but I don't know. Me with power tools, it's really not good. It's like giving a 16-year-old a driver's license.
Yeah.
All right. Joe's calling you out.
I know he is. You know that you're always welcome on this show too.
But yeah, in terms of news, boy, it has been all quiet on the Western Front here. Anything in the DC Comics side of the house?
I tend to think there was something, and of course you get to Sunday night and it's time to do the show, and but yeah, I thought earlier this week, oh yeah, we'll be talking about that during Fanboys this weekend.
I'm the same way. I feel like, oh man, I got to talk about this, and then nothing. I forget.
I need to start writing notes.
I feel like I save articles.
The last note that I wrote said,
let's see. Pretty sure I've got one.
Hey, Kenneth Bird, I see you there. It's awesome that you stopped to visit with us tonight. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, or Tim's had sent an article about some other stuff. Yeah, I feel like there's a news article I wanted to talk about, but I don't. Oh yeah, it was about Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton being out.
Yeah, Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton return, I guess, has been axed by Discovery. But in the article, it doesn't talk about if he's still in the Flash. I imagine he's still in the Flash, but
right now,
Flash going
forward. Right now, the
forward.
Flash is barely in the Flash.
Yeah, right. It sounds like, according to the article, that Keaton's in the Flash movie as Bruce Wayne, not as Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And then going forward, there is no Michael Keaton, which I suspected, because how are they going to have a Michael Keaton Batman, a Ben Affleck Batman, allegedly, and a Robert Pattinson Batman all at once? Like, that's too much Batman. I love Batman, but I got to say that's too much.
David said that there won't be 4 Batmans floating around this universe.
Yeah.
So
I imagine there's just going to be one, and I'm just going to continue to say that's Ben Affleck until proven otherwise, for clarity's sake. That way we know what universe we're talking about.
Yeah.
But
Paul's bringing up a good news point here. The Titans are becoming the new Justice League in Nightwing 98.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, I didn't know that. I'm behind on that run, a couple issues, but that's good news. And Lobo apparently is coming. I think we talked about this last week, but Lobo's coming to the DCU, which is pretty cool. And I think those are like the bigger ones of the movie verse, but like I said, other than that, it's been pretty quiet. Infinite Batmans would be boring. Yeah. I say if it was up to me, I would say goodbye to Keaton, thanks but no thanks. I would also, unpopular opinion, say goodbye to Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves' universe, and scrap all those projects that they were going to do. Even though I thought Colin Farrell was a great Penguin, I want to focus all my efforts in one direction. I don't want like several things happening at once. I want one direction going forward. I want just we'll call it the Snyderverse, even though it's really not the Snyderverse anymore. I want to focus on that, and everything connects to that. Like the Snyderverse is a river. We got all of these little streams coming off of it. That's okay. I don't want multiple rivers. That's just
with
me.
the multiverse stuff. Do you think they had any plans on tying in Pattinson with the?
I can't
do you think
imagine
they were just going to keep like a self-contained thing like the Christian Bale movies?
I mean, I think I know why they're doing it. If you look at like us in our community, like we would understand pretty easily a multiverse movie, or several Batman, knowing that they're not connected. We could turn off that part of our brain and do that. The average person likes Batman, and of course they're going to see every Batman movie, but they don't understand like the universe part of it or the multiverse part of it, and it's confusing. Like the Joker movie. Joker movie's great, but at some point they're gonna have to put a Joker in the DC universe, and like people are gonna compare the two and whatever. I don't want one star outshining what I consider my main star. They could do that. That's a good way to do it.
I was really hoping beyond hope that they were going to do a Batman Beyond type thing with Michael Keaton and have him like
awesome, bro.
train Terry McGinnis and just kind of branch into that. But I don't guess they're going to now.
Yeah,
that would have been cool to see.
Yeah, I can't imagine they're going to do something like that at this point. But you're right. Fans are chomping at the bits for Batman Beyond anything. Just a hint of Batman Beyond. I agree. That would be the greatest thing I think would ever come out of the DC universe. If David Zaslav would put his seal of approval on a Batman Beyond movie. Heck, they could even do it with Affleck if that's the Batman they want.
Yeah.
Just make him super old. You don't even got to get in shape. You just stand there with a cane or behind a computer.
Yeah. Hello to Barbarian Kung Fu. So you pop in there. Appreciate it very much.
What's going on? But we could speculate all day. But who knows what they're gonna do? I think it's Ben Affleck for sure going forward. That's how I'm interpreting these articles coming out. But who knows? I could be dead wrong. It's happened once.
Yep.
Ask my wife. But,
so no other news? We're wrapped up with the news portion?
Yeah.
Okay. So as we segue into the retro review, we gave SuperRus 9000 the option tonight. Look at all that power that we put into your hands, Russ. So tell us about why you picked the book you did, because your pick is going to be the first one up, and then we're going to do the 2 issues after it. So tell me why you picked this book.
I was flipping through the boxes and I really loved the cover.
Well, that is a good cover.
It's funny because I've had this book for years and I've never read it before. So I picked it out and I actually just read it like 10 minutes before the show started. And it was a fun story, man. It surprised me.
So I have this book, and I've had this since it was originally published. A few things about this book as we get ready to get started. This is Superman's first post-crisis appearance in Action Comics. This issue comes after 4 months of Action Comics not being published. And this also begins because DC Comics Presents had been canceled at that point. And this starts essentially DC Comics Presents, because Superman does team-ups in each issue, and that lasts on that format until issue 600. So it's John Byrne with Dick Giordano doing the finishing inks on it. John Byrne's story and art, and then Dick Giordano doing the finishing inks. So, Tony, do you have an assist for me?
I do. Give me 1 second.
Okay. So that's essentially a little bit of the background. We're going back to 1986 with this story. And as Russ mentioned, as he takes it away, that cover is pretty amazing. Take it away, Russ.
Oh, okay. Putting me up first. This turned out to be a really fun issue. But it starts off with this reporter. She's talking about how awesome and great the city is, how safe it is. Then all of a sudden, cut to Superman just punching buildings for no reason. There's chaos happening, debris falling. First one on the scene from the Titans, Cyborg. And I
I
found
like
it
his Teen Titans hat, by the way.
Yeah. I found it like very unnecessary that he like ripped off his like clothes and pants and everything.
Yeah, he could have kept that on.
Because it's, you know, with the half cyborg face, it's not like he has like a hidden identity or anything.
Yeah, you're right.
So the man just tearing clothes with reckless abandon, man. His wardrobe must be brutal bills every month. And I also found it hilarious that he announced everything he was doing out loud while he was doing it. Like Superman doesn't have super hearing whatsoever, and he wouldn't hear him saying every move he was going to do before he did it.
That's like those people that try to outrun the cops but use the turn signal.
Like, first I'm putting on my disruptor arm, then I'm going to go gadget arm and grapple to the top of the building. And he's just saying all this out loud instead of like an inner monologue to himself. I thought that was fantastic, man. That was hilarious. And he just kind of Spider-Mans up the side of the building and throws this like huge chunk of like metal roof at Superman. And Superman is just like flipping out, going crazy, insulting everybody as he's beating the crap out of them. Turns around, basically spears Cyborg, rips his arm off in like 2 seconds. Cyborg hits him with the laser to the forehead, and it hit Superman so hard that it turned his symbol completely yellow.
You're right. I just noticed that.
I didn't know if that was just done a few copies or if that was going to be in every copy.
Looks like it's every copy.
I think they color corrected that for the digital.
But
funny.
After that, just yeet Cyborg off the side of a building, and he runs to a payphone like it's the Matrix or something to call the rest of the Titans.
That's funny.
Cut to Beast Boy just answering the phone like a prank caller. Wondergirl snatches the phone from him, finds out it's Cyborg. Boom, they rush to the scene. Beast Boy goes in elephant mode, starts crushing Soup's head. Like it's nothing, he just grabs the trunk, judo throws him. Trash talking the whole time while he's just beating them down. Cue Wondergirl just like spike pile driving his head with a car.
See that being a bad day.
Superman comes from under the road with the big water pipe. She busts out the lasso. Then it cuts to a scene of Jericho, which I didn't know a lot or pretty much anything about the Jericho character. So this was like basically my first experience with him.
He's a pretty cool character.
Yeah. Evidently he can't speak. He communicates with sign language.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea.
If you watch Titans season 3, you get a lot of Jericho.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, a ton of Jericho.
I'll have to check that out. It cuts back from there, back to the fight. Cyborg's hopping around on one leg. Superman somehow breaks Wondergirl's lasso, got her up in the chokehold, starts saying all kind of stuff that would be very frowned upon today. He kind of went pretty dark there.
Yeah.
Cyborg bum rushes him with a spear just to get him off Wondergirl. And it looks like Superman's about to just deliver the killing shot there. And he gets hit in the face with like some, I don't know what that is, like a
tomato or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's green. Like a
First I
green
thought it was like
ball or
elephant
something.
poop from Beast Boy,
From
maybe.
Beast Boy. But he turns around and Jericho's there. And I'm not, like I said, I wasn't familiar with Jericho or his like power set, but evidently he can like go into people's bodies and control them temporarily.
With eye contact.
So he hits Superman with that. Goes into him, tries to like figure out what's going on. Meanwhile, what was this guy's name? Gunderson? I just read it like 10 minutes before the thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Yeah. Mr. Gunderson. Yep.
But he shows up and says, "That's not Superman. I'm Superman." Which threw me because at first, like looking at the cover, I thought maybe it was going to be like a red kryptonite deal or something. But as it turns out, this guy switched bodies with Superman. He put Superman in his body and took over Superman's body. And it shows all that, how he lured, it's like a flashback, how he lures Superman into his place, hits him with the whammy machine, and switches bodies, and traps Superman in this room as this normal person who can't really do anything. They figure all that out. So I guess Jericho, while he's still in Superman's body controlling him, takes Gunderson and the Titans, flies back to his place, and switches back. And that's pretty much like the end of the story. The real Superman is back. Gunderson's back in his body. And then it cuts to like Lex Luthor, which is just leading into Superman issue 2. But it looks like this story wrapped up right here.
Yep. Yep. So I'm going to cover the next issue, which is 585. Incidentally, Next Sunday will mark 36 years to the day that this issue was released to the world.
Oh, really?
36
So
years.
we were 1 week short of that anniversary, but we find Phantom Stranger teaming up with Superman in Action 585. On our first page, we get the omnibus Phantom Stranger splash as he asked us the soil remember. And he talks about in this area lie the rotten remains of hundreds of evil men, their lives sniped out by society that they defied, like murderers, kidnappers, and rapists. And he asks, does the soil remember? So we cut now to a fight. We see Superman has aged immensely, and he's fighting a magical character. Her name is Arathaza. And she's got this magical staff, this spear, and it's turned Superman old. And in this story, this is Superman's first published appearance where he's dealing with magic. Now, later on, they would write another story saying that Superman encountered magic before the events of this issue, but this was the first published post-crisis magic story with Superman. Well, Superman realizes that it's the spear, and if he could destroy the spear, that might free him of the chaos this magic is causing. So he does. Boom, you see, and Arathaza, she's transposed back to the normal human being that she was. Superman catches her and is taking her back to Metropolis, but we see that little remnant of the staff of her spear that she had in that jewel, how that ends up falling down into Earth, and it lands on this ground. It ends up on that same soil that on the splash page Phantom Stranger was talking about, where all these murderers and rapists and evil men who have been snuffed out by society, where they're buried at. So Superman's flying back into Clark Kent's home. He enters the apartment, and Phantom Stranger is there waiting, and he's like, "Greetings, Superman. Do not be alarmed. A task awaits you." Now, Superman tries to hold up the whole myth of, how did you know where to find me in Clark Kent's apartment? Kind of playing that whole, I'm not Clark Kent. And he's like, the mortal world holds few secrets from me, Superman. But he tells Superman that they have to go on a task. And what I love about this is Superman pretty much says, I just finished a magical menace. Why don't you get Dr. Fate or someone else? I'm dead tired. And Phantom Stranger's having none of this. So he instantly, Phantom Stranger's like, I want you. So he transports him into this other realm. And we see this is the area where all those men were buried at. And like the ground and the soil has come alive into this, almost like this being with lightning crackling around the hideous head. Its stone and earth flow like liquid around his body. His laugh booms across the swirling landscape, and even Superman feels the touch of fear. So Superman's a little taken back by this, but after all, he's Superman and he's not scared. So he goes up to attack it. And this thing's holding its ground pretty good against Superman. And Superman starts to realize during their fight that this thing is alive. And he sees this creature, I guess you could call it, saying he attacks us and he hurts us and he must be finished. And Superman realizes once again the intellect that's behind this. And Phantom Stranger's like, it's not alive. You're being deceived. There's no life there, only the memory of life. And he's like, well, Phantom Stranger, how can you say that? And Phantom Stranger's like, well, I know what your moral stance is about taking life, but this is already dead. This monster is already dead. And Phantom Stranger transports himself inside of this big monster. And when he gets through, he finds himself in the middle of a trial. He's being accused of a crime, the greatest crime of all. You live, stranger, while the poor souls must languish for all of eternity. Forbidden the rewards of the afterlife, imprisoned in our rotten shells, waiting out the ages of the universe. So Phantom Stranger is talking to the inner being of this creature, while Superman's on the outside noticing that this creature is starting to get stronger. It's starting to get bigger. It's starting to almost double in size, but worse than that, it's headed to Metropolis. It could potentially, by the time it reaches Metropolis, wipe out the entire city with just one step. So Superman knows that he has to stop it, so he decides to use some logic behind it. So since it grows by drawing the surrounding landscape into its body, he thought if he can stop it growing, he can stop it moving. So he's going to create essentially a hole down to the core, so it has nothing to absorb, nothing to be able to make it continue to grow. And that does temporarily stop the creature for just a moment. While inside, we have Phantom Stranger, once again dealing in his trial. And he's bringing up the fact, look at these people and what you did to, all your souls took the lives of these people, innocent people. There's the shopkeeper that you murdered on Christmas Eve for just a few dollars. There's the school teacher left for dead in a bloodstained alleyway. There's the child consumed by flame because one of you enjoyed the sight of buildings burning. The policeman gunned down in the line of duty because he stood between you and escape. The farmer whose home you invaded and who died in a hail of police fire when you tried to shoot out your way to freedom. Now, I'll say incidentally, doesn't that guy look like Clark Kent on the bottom row, though, in the green?
Yep.
It's not. But, man, that looks like John Byrne Clark Kent right there, but it's not. He's just an innocent bystander, run down when your getaway car jumped the sidewalk. So these are the souls, and Phantom Strangers, saying, you guys are the evil ones. Look what you did to these people. And these inner beings during this trial are having none of it. Lies. You defend yourself with a sham. These are not our victims. We are their victims. They had money. They had beauty, the power. All for them and none for us, when we deserved it all and much, much more. But we won in the end. We took what we saw as ours. So Phantom Stranger realizes that the Cherubite stone, which came from Arathaza's magical staff. Remember how Superman took that and it crumbled to the ground down there? He realizes that that's what's fueling all of this, that stone somehow activated these corpses of these evil souls. And if he gets rid of that, he could potentially stop that. And of course, as they realize that he's about to do something to the stone, the source of their power, they start to freak out. No, 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 you can't take our power. You will die first. And they go to attack him, and Phantom Stranger blasts back. And we see on the outside that Superman is like, well, the entire whirlwind effect is stopped. And Phantom Stranger pops up. Superman, you must act quickly. The focus of the monster's power is diverted. Break its contact with Earth. And Superman's like, break it? How am I going to do that? And he's like, well, I have to detach it from the ground. So he does, and he lifts this giant creature up and starts heading, and with an up, and away, they start heading into space. Superman takes it as far as he feels comfortable flying and then is going to heave it so it will start orbiting the sun. And Phantom Stranger, right before he gets ready to heave it, comes out of inside where he was. So Phantom Stranger's not hurled in with this big wad. And Superman's like, I didn't know you could survive in outer space. And how come I can hear you or you can hear me? And Phantom Stranger says, there's not much about me you do not know, Superman. Much is best left unknown. So as we come to the end, they come back down to Metropolis, Phantom Stranger and Superman. And Phantom Stranger kind of explains to Superman this presence and persistence of evil that they just dealt with and what it was, and how there are forces that can be stronger than death, Superman, and love can be one of them. And he gives him that final power source that they had, which was from the original staff, and Superman crushes it. And Superman says, but you still haven't really told me what happened inside of there. And Phantom Stranger says, nor have I any intention of doing so, Superman. Forgive the cliche, my friend, but there are some things man was not meant to know. And that's how the story ends.
Interesting story. It's always good to, that's one character I feel like is never utilized enough in DC is Phantom Stranger and the Spectre. I feel like are very undervalued in DC. But,
let me say hello to the Simply Incredible podcast. Hey, thanks for stopping by to see us. I appreciate you so much. And I did see Bronze Age Brian pop in as well. I'm a huge fan of that red jumpsuit as well. So now, Tony, this issue, I didn't read this one. I read Russ's and I read mine, but I haven't read this. This has a tie-in to the Legends miniseries, which we recently did on Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. So I'll be curious if this just kind of starts out of nowhere or if it picks up with an explanation or what's going on. Take it away.
Yeah, you're right. It does go with Legends a little bit, but we start off with I want to back up. So let's take a look at what we had so far. So we had Russ's issue, which was like a more down to earth, so to speak, Superman story where it's a classic, like 50s esque story where they just switch minds and bodies. You know what I mean? Just switch. Then we have Magic Lassos, who coincidentally focus on magic. This one is going into space, and it's kind of combining all of those aspects into the story. So this one's kind of a pretty good read. So this one is Superman taking on the New Gods. So we cut into space and we meet Orion, and I can never remember this guy's name. Something Light Ray. So Orion and Light Ray are talking about going to Apocalypse. They see it. There's an opening for an attack, and they can do it because Apocalypse, they notice, is oddly undefended. But then we cut to Apocalypse, and we see a brainwashed Superman working for Darkseid and Granny Goodness, doing the dirty work, so to speak, and kind of putting these defenses into place, which I thought was pretty cool. And this gal down here in the white, her name is where is it? Grace. She is like kind of like in control of Superman. She's holding the leash. Darkseid decides that he wants control, but she can't really like give Superman or the control of Superman over to Darkseid. It's not really how it works. So Darkseid's like, well, I think I'm just gonna kill you and take it anyway and find out. So Superman and Darkseid kind of have like a weird moment here. Darkseid convinces Superman that he's his son. That Superman is the son of Darkseid. And Superman's like, whoa, I never knew that I was from Apocalypse. I always thought I was from Krypton. And he's saying that you were fed a whole bunch of lies your whole life, Superman. I'm your father. Real Darth Vader moment. But in this case, the would-be Luke Skywalker accepts the fate and wants to rule the galaxy as father and son. So in come Orion and Light Ray, and Darkseid's going to send Superman. Hey, go deal with them, go kill them, defend your home, defend your family. So he goes up there and just starts going to town on them. Makes pretty quick work of Light Ray, but Orion gives him a good run for his money. They actually start chucking skyscrapers at each other, which I thought was pretty cool. Light Ray is pretty defenseless in this issue. I had to laugh because every time you see him, he's in the background doing something completely irrelevant. And if I was Orion, I'd be like, listen, if you're just gonna do nothing, go back to where we came from, get somebody else to help me. I'm fighting Superman for the love of God, help me. But they trade blows pretty well. Orion does knock some sense into him, kind of reveals like who he is, takes off his helmet and explains to Superman. He's like, listen, dude, you're not the son of Darkseid. I am the son of Darkseid. I'm Orion of the New Gods. Darkseid is manipulating you and he's trying to trick you for whatever reason. We don't know. Light Ray kind of finds oh gosh, I can never remember her name. The other, it's still Grace, in saying, hey, we got Superman under our control. What are you going to do? Which I got to laugh at Light Ray. He just turns really bright, which turns her focus off of Superman. She's like, my eyes. So she's not controlling Superman anymore. Superman kind of then snaps out of it. Orion whips out one of his mother boxes and kind of pulls that mind control off of Superman and gives him his memories back. So Superman is like, I'm here. Get me, Darkseid. Darkseid realizes that Grace has failed. And it kind of ends her. Darkseid uses his Omega beams, and Superman is outrunning all these Omega beams through the city. You know what I mean? Trying to avoid them. And eventually he comes back through the palace, and his own Omega beams kind of hit him, kind of messes him up, actually. You can see it knocked his helmet off, kind of burned his face. looks real disfigured. Then he burns Superman again. Superman kind of breaks out of it, lands a couple of solid blows on Darkseid. They go flying. In come Orion and Light Ray, and they kind of are at a draw with Darkseid, and Darkseid is like, "Listen, you know, I'm gonna be here forever, whether you guys like it or not." And then we kind of pan away. Orion and Light Ray kind of going back off to I forget the place where they come from. Wherever the New Gods are from, I can never remember. I'm sorry.
Is it New Genesis?
New Genesis, yes.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of go off to New Genesis, and they got what they needed. I guess they were there with ulterior motives. They were there to get a lay of Apocalypse, kind of like infiltrate Apocalypse and get some intel on where things are laid out. And this is the perfect cover because they just lied and say we're there for Superman. Now they got all this intel. They're going to go back to New Genesis and lay the attack. But yeah, Superman is boomed back to Metropolis, which is pretty cool. But short and simple. This is a great read. I agree. This one was a good one for sure. I like this one.
So Tony, we'll start with you. Grade your book. Give some general thoughts on it.
I got to admit, when I read this book, I was like, "Oh wow, so much happens in this issue. Wonder what's going to happen on everybody else's." Because I thought they were all like tied together.
Yeah.
And they weren't.
No.
And when I started, Russ went first, and he was talking about like a mind-controlled Superman. I was like, "Oh, that's how he gets mind control in my issue." Like it happens in issue 1. Like that's cool. Mm-hmm. Turns out that's not true. But I like this issue. I think this would make a really good Superman animated series episode if they could pull something like that off. But,
so yeah. Jackson Roykirk says there's an animated version. Jackson, tell me
perfect.
where, if you know, Jackson, where that's at. So
I didn't read that. I wish I would have seen that before I said. But I can see that because this is a really interesting story. So
how many stars are you going to give it?
I'm going to give it 4.
4 stars?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'll review mine, but first I want to say hello to the art chemist who's joined us in the live chat. We have Sleepy Reader 666. Damien is here. I also say Sad Vision, or it's Vision with a headache. I can't decide which one it is, if he's sad or if he has a headache. But if you have a headache, that might make you sad. And 62 Lefty Blues. I loved it. I love seeing it on the store shelves. If you missed last week's Fanboys, we did an entire retro review on that issue. So make sure to check that out. But thanks for stopping by today. My story. So that's another one. All 3 of these I had in my personal collection, but I haven't read these since they were new stories. So my book I enjoyed. I'm going to do 4 out of 5. At first I thought the beginning with the Arathaza character in that story, that real quick 3-4 minute page fight, I'm like, that feels so disconnected from the rest of the story. But then they tied it back because of the spear and the stone possessing the spear. That's what caused the main story with Phantom Stranger to happen. And but overall I enjoyed it. I agree with Tony too that Phantom Stranger is a character that's much underused at DC. So 4 out of 5. Russ, your story, thoughts, comments, and a grade.
I've really enjoyed the story. I thought it was a lot of fun. I like the cover, like I said, the art inside. The only thing that's stopping it from being like just a 5 out of 5 for me is like those few lines that Superman said to Wondergirl when he was controlled by Gunderson. I don't know, man. That kind of...
Yeah, he implies some things.
Yeah, that just kind of messed me up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go a 4 out of 5 on it.
4 out of 5. Still respectable grade. So out of all the covers, the one that you picked, Russ, is the one that I love the most. Of course, here we have the Titans, but we're minus Robin/Nightwing and Starfire aren't in the story.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But
that would have been a pretty good addition.
Yeah, still a good book, I think. So now one thing that I'd like to mention, and I think that these 3 stories are great ones to talk about. This is back in the era when comic books were single stories. Now, we don't get a lot of single stories much anymore. They're here and they're there in books, but not the norm.
They're called one shots now.
Yeah, or I mean, everything's a big story arc because it has to be collected into the trade paperback. What are your thoughts versus just wrapping everything up in one issue like they used to in the old days versus the formatting of comic books these days? Russ, why don't we start with you?
I like that old format of like one-shot stories, single issue stories. But I also kind of dig storylines if they're not like stretched out and have 100 tie-ins. Like the Death of Superman story. It was a pretty long story because it had some Justice League issues. I think one Green Lantern issue, but it wasn't like overwhelming. So I enjoy the collected stories if they're on the shorter side and they're actually easy to obtain. But I lean more toward like single issues where you just read that issue and you don't have to like track down the next 10 issues if you want to complete the story. So I think I like the single issues just a little bit more than the giant story arcs.
I agree. Thank you, Jackson, for letting us know it's episodes 53 and 54, which is the finale of Superman the Animated Series. That's where they adapted that into.
I knew that story was familiar. I couldn't put my finger on it. I even said it would make a cool episode of Superman the Animated Series. It actually is. That's kind of neat.
Yeah. And Damian, I pretty much agree with what Damian's saying, when I think the creators are pigeonholed into having to write something that lasts X amount of issues, that's what gives us some of these filler issues that we don't need at all. I just want a good story. I don't care how long it takes. Just be a good story. So, Tony, your thoughts?
Honestly, it could go either way for me. Both have their place, in my opinion. I can see the benefits of doing a whole bunch of single issues like this. We just read 3 issues in a row, and they weren't related at all. I get that. I also get why DC wants to do like these huge arcs. You know what I mean? Because you got to buy all the issues to get the story. So they want you to buy all their stuff. So I get why they're doing that, but doing it the single issue way, if you want to dive into comics and you've never bought one before, you can just buy one. Boom, one story. You like it? Great. Go get another one. Boom, you like that one? Like, it's a lot more user friendly and new user friendly, and that's appealing in a way. Then I feel like it keeps these writers on their toes. You know what I mean? Like, you got to think of 20 Superman stories, go, and they're all going to be released. You know what I mean? Just one after another. Boom, 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 boom. I think that's pretty creative. Not that long stories aren't creative, but it's a different type of creativity. But honestly, I'm on the fence. I can't say I like one or the other.
Okay. Well, we're going to segue into our book show portion right now, and our special guest, SuperRus 9000. Why don't you go first? Show us what you have, and then tell us a little bit about anything that's coming up on your channel as well, and remind us again about your giveaway.
All right. Well, since we did a Superman episode, I brought one of the biggest showcase books in my collection. I have Superman 123 from 1958. This is the first prototype appearance of Supergirl.
That's awesome.
I figure, I'll never actually get the first appearance of Superman. So the next closest thing I could get was the first appearance of Supergirl. Now, this is like the prototype version. This version was only ever in this one single issue. And she didn't have a name other than Supergirl. She was actually wished into existence by Jimmy Olsen. And she died by the end of the issue.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But almost a year after this issue, they came out with Action Comics 252, which had the first appearance of the Kira Sorrell Supergirl. Which that's a bigger book money-wise than this one. But this is like, technically the first appearance. Even though it's
of
not
a Supergirl.
Yeah. Well, it's the prototype for what became the Supergirl.
Yeah, it actually says in the notes up here, Supergirl tryout.
What year did that come out?
It says 1958. So
And
this
Russ,
is
tell us again about the giveaway and anything else going on your channel.
well, the giveaways. I was going to run it to the end of the year, but it doesn't look like I'm going to hit that 2K mark by the end of the year. So I'm just going to run it for as long as it takes. I'm sitting at 1,591 right now. When I hit 1,600, I've got 6 more books that I'm going to reveal as part of the giveaway. And every 100 until I get to 2K, I'm going to add just more and more books to it until I've got a pretty nice big stack of books to give away. Because I wanted to, when I actually hit 2K, I want it to be a huge giveaway, like worthy of those kind of numbers.
As it should be. That's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, that would be pretty epic to hit it. Yep. It might take several months, but that's kind of a good thing in a way because it's open worldwide. And if an international viewer wins it, I'll have plenty of time to save up to ship it out.
And once again, there's a link to all of the fanboys and our special guest SuperRus 9000, their YouTube channels in the description for this video. Even the ones that weren't part of the show tonight still got a link, and the link's dead. But no, I'm just kidding. It's an active link. So, Tony, what's going on your channel, and what book show do you have?
Oh man, shorts galore. I keep talking about shorts, but if you notice, I haven't really published a whole lot. I'm trying a shorts experiment that I learned, where I make a whole bunch of shorts and I just kind of hold on to them, and then eventually just open the floodgates. That way, I've got like every day or every other day, all the stuff's coming out. So I do all the hard work already, and I'm holding some back because I'm anticipating some news or some trailer drops, like Shazam. Got a couple of Shazam shorts pre-taped, so to speak. So once that new Shazam trailer or big Shazam news gets dropped, I can have a relevant video with some relevant hashtags. So cool tip that I learned a while back. But in terms of a book show, I decided that since I was doing Darkseid story with Superman, I decided to go with my new book in my signature collection, and that is Superman Darkseid War, signed by Francis Manapul from Baltimore Comic-Con. So this is a Superman one-shot. I think we did a review of Darkseid War, not all the one-shots, but the story in Justice League 3000 about that. But Francis Manapul, got to meet him at Comic-Con. He signed a lot of my stuff. I love the fact that he used gold on this black and white signature, or this black and white picture. So that's pretty wild. So
that
very happy with it. It does. It looks great.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah. Well, cool. For my channel, do you want to remind everyone that I still have a giveaway going on, and it runs until this upcoming Saturday. You could win a copy of Female Force Loretta Lynn. And thank you, SuperRus 9000. You are an owner of this book. You bought a copy. So
yeah, I had to get a copy when you announced it.
Well, thank you. That meant the world to me. And thank you for sending in your photo and letting me share that in a previous video as well. So I do want to remind you that this you look for my November 1st video posting with all the details. The contest runs until this upcoming Saturday. So and all the entries must be made on that November 1st, 2022 video. So make sure to check that out. I'll be dropping tomorrow a YouTube short. It's a DC Comics Bronze Age book. Now, looking at the cover, you're not going to think that it's a Thanksgiving book, but when you read the story, it's definitely a Thanksgiving book. And so I want you to check that out. I'll be dropping that YouTube short tomorrow morning. Also, recently, I dropped a Black Panther cover by video with my friends Comics for Thomas and just a little podcast. But for a book show, tonight we retro reviewed Action Comics 584, 585, and 586. In case you were wondering, I wonder who the guest was in 587 or what the cover looked like. This was it.
Ooh, Etrigan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the demon in a story called The City of Lost Souls. So I think of Kachun when I see demon books because I know that he is a collector of the character Demon. And no bag of sevens, you do not have to sing to get entered, but it certainly wouldn't hurt. Well, maybe
I think you should. Now that he said it, he has to.
I should. It It should be something, anything that could cause a copyright problem for me. That would be a good thing. So.
Yes.
But that kind of brings us to the end of Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. Anything else you guys want to share?
Live long and prosper.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's
all right,
Star
cool.
Trek.
Well, join us again next weekend for our next Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. SuperRus 9000. It's always an honor to get to collaborate with you, and thank you for coming on the channel and the show. And please come back again.
Anytime, man. Just hit me up anytime you got like Tim or Comic Fu laying out.
Okay.
I'll happily hop in.
Okay, awesome. That'd be great. And thank you again if you're watching on the Rewind. Thank you to all of our live chatters as well, and our not so live chatters. It's always good to see you. Have a fantastic rest of your week and a happy Thanksgiving as well. Take care.